What did you learn about sex at a young age that turned out to be completely wrong? My mom told me penises get bigger, so I told all the other third graders that penises stretched like putty to become longer. You choose the gender of the baby by who is on top, man on top for a boy, woman on top for a girl. I don't know if I learned it, but when I first heard the sexual term eat out, I thought it meant literally eating a food out of a girl's vagina, not just regular oral sex. I found a dirty joke book in middle school, and one of the jokes went something like, why did the man want his date to wear a tampon? So he could floss after eating out. I assumed eating out referred to the dinner he was treating his date to before they had sex. So logically I reasoned that after the meal they'd go back to his place and he'd just go on down there and use the string to floss before they had regular sex. My friend told me the only way to get rid of a boner was to rub it against furniture. I was 10 at the time. Then one day the couch shattered. Nah, that's how love seats are made. I mean, depending on how horny you are, it might be true. I was under the impression that the penis went into the vagina and vibrated. No pumping required. If only. You think if my penis vibrated I'd be sitting here on Reddit on a Saturday night? /user farting Bob, probably yes. Sorry. Reddit link. I had the opposite thought. That vagina would make the movements, not the penis. Watching late night Cinemax when I was a kid. Women would only moan when their nipples were exposed. I assumed, as a pre-adolescent boy, that whenever a woman became topless, she would moan. Late night Cinemax softcore porn in the 90s didn't show what was going on downstairs. Only nipples and moaning. Man, I remember those days for me in 1991. I would stay up super late to watch a movie that stated AC for adult content only to catch 3 seconds of a tit or some awkward missionary. I was like 9 years old and my dad, presumably, had left a porn in the VCR. I went to go play something and it instantly came on. It was some weird scene in a kitchen. Food all over the place. About 10 seconds in, this dude jizzes a pool of cum onto the girl's face and I thought it looked like egg whites. I hated eggs. I gagged hard, turned it off immediately, and ran shuddering. I had heard about women having eggs, but saw the egg white come out of the dude, so my brain put it together that the guy had egg whites and the girl had the yolks. I was terrified that I was going to shoot egg whites out of my dick one day. I genuinely thought that for a couple years. I couldn't even look at eggs. I thought about it every time I saw eggs, and my mom and dad always had egg sandwiches together on Sunday mornings. F egg sandwiches. Yo, this ducking comment has me rolling right now. Edit, I know, and I'm leaving it. This dude high on quack. When you insert your penis, a constant stream of sperm will start coming out your dick and stop as soon you take it out. Yeah, they never explained how ejaculation works. I don't know how I thought the dick somehow knew what was going on. Like a gas pump? Yup, it stops once the amount that you paid for is over. The sock teaches you. That's basically most hentai. The moment it goes inside, X-ray vision has been activated. I started masturbating at a very young age, but I had no idea what I was doing at all, and I 100% believed I was the only person in the entire world who was doing it. Literally same. Oddly enough, the day after I started was the day everyone else suddenly started talking about it. Or maybe you just finally understood what they were talking about? Hey, I think I've heard of that. It's called the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon. When you learn something new and it seems like you see it everywhere after that. Ever since I first learned about the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon, all I seem to see anywhere is people talking about the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon. The Matrix only has so much memory to save new information. Once you learn something else, that'll eventually phase out. Lamau same. I had no idea what the little button that made my body convulse in the feel-good ways was, and then what exactly that feeling was. I am embarrassed to say it took me about a year to figure out that they were orgasms. I was 10 at the time. Edit with more embarrassing info. Each time I would have a go at it, I would very intently compare the feeling to the last time, trying to see if anything was different, if I felt my hands were in a different place. 90% was extremely puzzled about what the F was happening. Oh, and when I found my urethra, I thought I had 2 vaginas. Oof. Truly believed I was discovering something unknown to mankind, well, womankind. Edit 2. When I eventually explored my vagina, so the inside, I again thought I was discovering something in medical history, because the rib texture where the G-spot typically is, felt exactly the same as my tongue. So I thought my effing tongue traveled all the way through my goddamn body and finished at the entrance to my vagina. I was 10 and a half, 11 years old. How about this for embarrassing? I didn't know girls could orgasm for the first year I started having sex. Yo, I didn't even get that it felt good. It was just a thing that I did that made me sweaty and relieved afterwards and helped me fall asleep. I don't know where I got the idea, but I thought that a man's nipples touching a girl's nipples was sex. It's a good start. Still better than thinking you have to put your nipples in the other person's ass. You have to correct that behavior quickly before it becomes a habit. Definitely something you want to nip in the butt early. First guy I dated told me that leaving a guy with blue balls would cause permanent damage, giving me no choice but to help him finish. Imagine my surprise when another man came along and actually accepted my no. This strategy must have been passed down since the Neolithic period. I swear I've heard so many stories of dudes trying this one. When I was in grade 5, they separated the boys and girls for health/sex ed class. I'm with the rest of the boys. The teacher is talking about erections. I've got a ton of respect for teachers and can't imagine how I could maintain order and keep a straight face while teaching that to a room full of immature young boys, but my teacher at the time did just that. Mostly. One of the boys who felt the need to try boast about the size of his dick during that class made a wonderful error in judgment that he would soon learn that his knowledge about the birds and the bees was very wrong. He claimed to the class that he had to have his boner x-rayed by the doctors for some reason and that it showed he had a very large bone. With a stone-cold response, the teacher announced to the class that Rodney, if they x-rayed your penis it would show nothing. Took the teacher probably 10 minutes or more to get the class to settle down after that. Dickless Rodney earned a new nickname that day. Edit. Holy moly. Hadn't looked back at this until now. My first gold or awards of any kind. Yay. Thank you wonderful people you. An especially huge thank you to Dickless Rodney, wherever you are. Also, as some of you had pointed out, Rodless would have been a much more clever choice, but in fairness, we were grade 05ers from 27 years ago. We lacked Reddit powers back then. Should have called him Rodless damn kids. I'm a teacher, and I'm crying. Your teacher definitely talked about this in the lounge. Edit. I have never received awards, or this many likes. Thank you everyone. As a 4th grade teacher, can confirm. The 5th grade teacher is the one who teaches sex ed, and every year when it comes around, I go to her to get the details and stories every day. The best are their questions. It's a magical time of year. Not quite the same because we are high school, but I'm so upset we aren't having teacher Thanksgiving this year. Every year the driver's ed teacher always tells all the great stories from the past year. We laugh our asses off. So much fun. Dickless Rodney just made me cry from laughing. I learned about sex primarily through the internet. I honestly didn't think about it too much and didn't fully grasp what it was, just that people did it together. I remember the first time my mom gave me the talk. For some reason she put heavy emphasis on if a guy tells you he can hold it in, he's lying to your damn face. She was talking about dudes telling girls they can hold their cum in. My tiny mind didn't fully register it at the time, but now that I'm older I'm convinced some guy tried using that crap on her lol. Kid me just thought sex meant 2 people tickle the other person's privates and wait for the fishies to come out. Yes, I called sperm fishies. If a guy tells you he can hold it in, he's lying to your damn face. Have you ever suspected that's how you were conceived? I'm so sorry. I have long suspected that's how I came to be, yeah lol. I never found out if I was a planned pregnancy or not. My only indicator is when my mom told me my dad left her for 6 months when he found out she was pregnant. So I'm just going to assume he used that crap on her and pulled a surprised Pikachu face when she turned up preggo. My mum straight up told my sister and I we were accidents, and that she never wanted to have children with our DNA donor. It wasn't until I was older that I learned you can also tell your kids they were a pleasant surprise, like my friend's family told their youngest child. My mom tells us we were accidents quite frequently, and that she never wanted kids. My dad tells us that's really odd of her to say because they talked about it and she stopped taking her birth control. They're divorced. But I'm a twin, so I guess at least one of us was an accident. Edit, typo. Girls got pregnant when boys kissed them. When I was little, I asked my mother how a woman got pregnant. She cowardly replied, "I don't know." So, I used logic. What do married people do that unmarried people don't? Well, obviously, according to the family safe movies back then, kissing. So, I stopped kissing my mom goodnight in case I got her pregnant. Oh my lord, that's hilarious. Oh my gosh, I thought this too. When people got married, I thought when they did that kiss at the front of the crowd they did a special kiss and that made the baby. That's not true. What the F? My wife has some explaining to do. I thought oral sex was phone sex because you were speaking. What's digital sex to you? That's how you get hearing aids. That's oral sex. I didn't think that a penis could physically fit in a vagina. They look so big when I saw the diagram of an erect one in sex ed. I figured I'd never have sex and only make out a lot. Edit, wow, thanks so much for awards and upvotes. Then being both relieved and disappointed when you finally did have the sex. Can you effing imagine being on the receiving end of thanks God, it's shorter than I thought and not leaving the crime scene? Mate, if I have a small dick and she's thankful for that? Lord knows I'm going to try to keep that woman in my life. Edit, I get it, y'all, we're all small PP lads here on Reddit. The first time I saw a penis in real life I was terrified. I'd assumed they were around the size of a nail file. They aren't? Similarly, I didn't learn about erections until a while after I learned about sex. I spent a few years very confused about the logistics. Haha. I spent my entire young life thinking that penises were always erect. I was also very confused about the logistics. I'm just amazed at all these posts where people actually learned about sex and sex ed. My experience, we had a guest speaker come in to say sex is awesome. Everyone wants you to have great sex. But only after you're married. Then she proceeded to show us the chart about your 3 partners having 3 partners, who also had 3 partners and so on. At this exponential growth rate, soon everyone but you will have had sex. Thank you for watching. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube. And share them with your friends. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. We welcome your comments below. Another of our videos will begin shortly.